So first of all, I just want to apologize that there was no video last month. When I was supposed to start recording the video, I ended up getting COVID, I think. I've been sick since Monday. Friday came, I was still coughing, and couldn't really talk a whole lot without coughing. Right now I got holes in my mouth to make sure that I don't cough, even though my cough is almost entirely gone right now. But overall, I want to welcome you back to another YouTube video, you beautiful hosers, and hopefully my voice is a little closer to normal, I'll say, because it's taken its toll on me. I've been off work for the past week because I've been sick. So, that aside, let's jump into the video. Don't be like me. Now, essentially when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about don't be like this guy right here talking to you. Now, you may be questioning, well, obviously, I'm not going to be like you because I'm not you, and you've stated this in other videos that everybody's life is completely different. Everybody's life is uniquely their own. Hold your horses there, buddy. I will get there. What I mean in this sense of don't be like me is dealing with loss. Now, I'm sure I've already talked about dealing with loss before, but not quite in this perspective. Now, what I'm going to get into is more or less when you lose something, it's not always lost forever. However, when you lose somebody that you're close to that's no longer in this plane of existence, I'll say, because there's a lot of different directions that could go, but we'll just say this plane of existence, okay? We'll just say that for now. So, once they're gone from this plane of existence, you can say you lost somebody. And odds of you finding them isn't going to happen in this lifetime unless they're reincarnated, and that's a completely different thing. Unless you're religious and you have the belief that they'll be brought back when the true end of days are. So, we're not going to delve into that, but we're just going to say that that's the one time that possibly a person could be lost forever. You're never going to see them again. So, knowing that little piece of information, how do we go about things? Well, some people have different ideas. Some people think getting angry with everyone and everything is okay. It is to an extent. Now, to clarify what I mean is there is plenty of studies that are done on the 7 stages of grief. Denial is one of the stages. Anger is one of the stages. Grief actually is technically one of them, which is sorrow and sadness. Bonus points to whoever caught that reference. I know I did. Because that was the one that used it. Anyways, that's just some of them. Now, out of the 7, there's a broad spectrum of what that can look like. Now, suppressing what you're feeling generally is not the best of ideas. You can reminisce, but don't cling to that idea. Because once you start clinging to it, and going, well, I wish everything was the way that it used to be. Now, I can agree with that to an extent. What I don't agree with is when we're holding on to that, we're missing what's in front of us. So from here to here, we're missing this entire piece. We'll go like that. We're missing this entire piece here because we're holding on to what's up here. This is our past. This is our present. This is our future. I know that's a rather strange way of explaining it. However, if you're clinging to the past and you're not worried about your present, how can there not be a future? Now, the simplest explanation to that is how can there not be a future is because simply you have no future. If you're just clinging on to the past, thinking about, well, I really wish things would just go back to the way that they used to be. That's an okay feeling to have. But when you're constantly thinking about it, being like, no, I got to make everything like it was, you're missing the mark. And when you're dealing with grief and all these other things, and you're just thinking about the past, it's okay to think about the past. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. But don't cling to it, because when you're clinging to it, everything in between here, you're missing. Because the past shapes who you are in the present, and your present can change who you are in the future. So from checkpoint 1 to 2 to 3, they're all technically interconnected. And we all deal with grief in our own ways. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to be in denial about what happened. It's okay to reminisce about the things and the stories that you had with said person. What's not okay is when you're clinging to the idea of what used to be in the past and be like, well, if I could just go back in time and change things. If we went back in time and changed things, technically, you're no longer yourself anymore. So who you are in the present ceases to exist, and there's no future for that person. There's no character development. There's absolutely nothing. And sometimes the best thing that we can do is live on for the memory of that person. Now, the real reason why I decided to talk about the video about this is, A, I prayed about it, and B, there's a lot of people that I've known in the past month here that have recently passed away, and I'll even say the past year, technically, to people that I've been acquaintances with, to people that I've known personally, to people that I was neighbors with, to even people that I've known all my life. And kind of this video is therapeutic to myself because I even need the reminder. Because I had the epiphany when I was doing some roofing in Chetwynd, and we decided to go to church the following day. I had the epiphany of the reason why I'm having such a hard time is because I'm clinging to the past. I don't care about who the future me is. I don't care about the present me. I just wanted what was in the past. And sure, I can reminisce about the things in the past, but overall, going towards the present and the future, they can be two completely different people. And if I'm denying one, the other can't exist. So for some of us, it's like, well, I feel like whoever my future partner is, I'm doing them a disservice because I don't have anything to give them. They'll want this, they'll want this, they'll want this. And it just keeps on creating a giant bubble that just keeps on getting bigger. And then you sit there and you wonder, well, this bubble's getting bigger, and by the time it pops, it's a little too late. That's the reason why it's important to give yourself the time to grieve and give yourself permission to grieve. Let yourself cry. Let yourself get angry. Let yourself deny what happened. Be happy. That's another stage of grief, technically, which is joy. Let yourself be joyful. Let yourself reminisce. Let the feelings and the emotions come out. Don't bottle them up. I know that's my problem as I bottle things up because I think nobody wants to hear it. However, I've come to realize over long periods of time and stuff that it's not what's best, but it's what I've done. When I say don't be like me, that's what I mean. If somebody in your life passes away that you've known, give yourself the time to grieve. Don't just bottle it up and keep pressing on. Sometimes it's best just to keep your brain occupied with other things. But 99% of the time, it's not. Because later down the line, somebody's just going to press that button, floodgates are going to open, and they're going to look at you and say, wow, you've been holding this in for all those years. So if you even need therapy, go get therapy. There's actually a few different YouTube channels here that are around that deal with this sort of stuff. And they talk fairly loosely on it because it depends on the topic that they're on. You have Psych to Go. And actually, one of the channels that I recently discovered is called Cinematherapy. Now, what do the two have in common? One is trying to help you understand emotions and different things, which is Psych to Go. They help you understand certain aspects and what you might be going through, because it's an entire thing on psychology. Cinematherapy, however, actually has one person that is messing the word here. A therapist. There we go. That's on the channel. And they watch movies together. They talk about different things. And one of the ones that I'll recommend is Therapist Reacts to Good Will Hunting. Now, there's a couple of reasons, but I'm not going to dive into that because there's a lot of reasons why a person should watch the video. But if you're dealing with loss, with grief, and feeling like you're not adding up and your love life sucks, I strongly suggest watching that video for the simple fact of it helps you gain a perspective of things that you didn't realize that maybe you're possibly going through. And I'll actually say you probably should watch Good Will Hunting, because actually that's one of the best films about a therapist. Because good therapy looks a lot closer to that than almost any other resource that you can find that's come out of Hollywood, I'll say in like the last 100 years. That's the closest you're going to find. And technically, I'd say guidance counseling, grief counseling, parental counseling. If you need counseling, go get help. Because you don't want to be like me, suppressing everything and then wondering, well, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. You just got to deal with it. Although that may be true, it's not always the case. And I know there's a lot of people that say, well, I'm proud of you and the growth that you've had over the last 7 years. Generally, I look at them and say, it goes one of two directions. It's either they say that, or they look at you and be like, oh, wow, you've lost quite a bit of weight. My initial two reactions are, number one, how fat was I before? Number two, why are you proud of me? I've done nothing to be proud of. So, once again, don't be like me. If you're going to be humble about it, be humble, but don't drag yourself down. And I'm going to leave this video here because this topic could go on forever. But I just want to say a huge thanks if you've made it to the end of the video. Next video that comes out, I'm going to explain why my videos are done in this format compared to anything else. And I'm actually going to answer that question right here, but I will dive more into it in the very next video here. The reason why my videos are actually like this is because technically they're not meant to be watched, they're meant to be listened to. Sure, I do hand gestures and a bunch of other things, but generally, the mind's perception when they're watching somebody make videos like this, they're not going to find it very entertaining, not very engaging. And honestly, that's the best way of looking at it, because I know that it's not like that. And by not like that, I mean it's exactly like that, and it's not intended to be anything else. I want these videos so that people, when they're feeling down, they can put it on in the background. They can, let's say, mow the lawn. They can vacuum the floors, wash the floors, what have you. Listen to this and maybe, possibly, feel a little bit better about themselves and give themselves something to think about. Because generally, when you're thinking about things, that's when the growth actually happens in our lives. So, these videos technically are made to be listened to, not exactly watched. As for when I look at my watch time, it doesn't really bother me that it's only around a couple of minutes per video. But overall, I just want to state that these videos definitely are meant to be listened to, not so much watched. I don't care about the watch time. I really don't care about the views. Only thing I care about is if somebody either gets a smile on their face or if I help somebody. If I help somebody with these videos, that's all that matters. I don't care about anything else. I've already stunted the growth of my channel a lot. Because I technically could have been monetized by now if I wanted to continue down the path that I was going with the drama content, which I didn't like making those videos. So here we are. Anyways, as always, I hope you're having a fantastic 2022. And if you're not, I hope it gets better for you sooner rather than later. Peace out. And I'll probably see you all before the end of the month.